You're listening to Unmuted with Papamutes.
You're listening to Unmuted with Papamutes.
Welcome to Papamutes, everybody. Today, my guest is Pat Benincasa. She is an artist, an educator, an author, and a fellow podcaster. And I'm thrilled to have her on the pod. Pat, welcome to Papamutes.
Hey, thank you. I've been so looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's good to meet you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're coming to us from the great state of Minnesota?
That's right, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Is that where you were born?
No, I speak fluent Minnesotan, but I was born in the Detroit area, Pontiac.
Okay. Now, when you were, a young girl growing up, everybody goes to grade. Well, shouldn't say everybody, but you go to grade school, high school, you take art classes. Some people, they like it or they just want to get through it. But what made you, say, hey, art is my thing? Was it early on? And, how did that happen?
Well, that's a good question. I went to Catholic school. I'm going to date myself. In the days when they didn't really have art classes, they would hand out mimeographed images of saints and you'd go color them. Okay.
I remember that. I went to Catholic school.
You know what I'm talking about. And so what I would do before I even realized it, I'd start drawing in the background. I'd add things. I'd put expression on the faces, add people. And it just happened. I cannot remember a time when I didn't think I was an artist.
So how old, though? I mean, we talking first grade, second grade?
Oh, again, as a little kid, it's just that I always wanted to draw pictures. And it's interesting, my parents were very business oriented. They were both born in Italy. I'm a first generation. And business was talked about in our house, but not art. So I don't know. Maybe it's my ancestors. I don't know. Maybe it's in our blood. But it came full throttle. And I like to joke that in Catholic school, you might remember this, there was a thing called the Baltimore Catechism.
Oh, yeah.
You had to memorize. Remember those?
Yep.
And you had to memorize those questions. And I think the first one, why did God make me? God made me to know him, love him, and to serve him, and to be an artist. And I was saying this stuff before I even knew what the hell I was saying. I just knew it.
What category does your art fall under, if anything? I mean, is that a good word, category, or
I think that's a fair question, Bob. But God, that's a tough question because I always follow the idea. I will always follow and yield to an idea. So if an idea says stop painting, you need to work in glass, I will go learn how to do glass. If an idea says I'm really interested in industrial demolished work sites, I need to be painting on sheet metal. I'll paint on sheet metal. So I'm not an artist. There's some artists that can really develop and have a body of work that's very unified. If you look at my work, I have sacred works with glass. I have public commissions with 7 tons of glass and steel for a skylight. And I have a body of work that is industrial work sites that have been taken down. I love those things. I love that anybody who's grown up at a certain time can drive on a highway and you'll see those factories in the distance. We've seen them. And I just have a real respect for that, those beautiful buildings.
So is that my next question was, what inspires you? Is it just you see something and, what inspires you for a piece of work? I mean, obviously, a factory, you see it and boom, but what about other stuff?
Well, it's not actually my work started, as an artist grows, you follow things at the time. And for many years, I was painting domestic scenes, life size, like 6 foot by 8 foot canvases of rooms with tables and Persian rugs. But the work evolved. And I think the one thing that does unify my work is my passion for geometry. I spent a lot of time working with images of sacred geometry, like labyrinths, the circle, the square. And I built glass labyrinths and painted them. And then the next thing I know, I'm looking at ancient Roman cities, and they're laid out using geometry. So I went from the sacred geometry of labyrinths into painting these ancient cityscapes, like maps of cities. So for years, I painted a map of Detroit the way it's laid out. So Youngstown, all these different cities. I was just interested in how they were laid out. But then one day I thought, I feel like an airplane. I'm flying over these things. Now I want to get inside of the city. It brought me to these factories, steel mills. They are very geometric. If you ever looked at them with the bridges and the structures, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, I've researched your work, so yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But so you see, we'll use a factory as an example. Okay, I want to paint this factory. Are you painting it or drawing it or what have you from memory, or do you go out, sit in front of it? You have the image of an artist with the canvas, and there's the factory off in the distance, or do you take a picture of it and then copy it? Or you want to draw the factory. Where are you sitting in front of it? Or do you just bring it back home in your head?
So I am not one of those. I'm not one of those gifted artists that can just pull out a canvas and start painting what they see like that. Okay. Oh my God, those folks are amazing. I research the hell out of everything I do. So if I'm looking at maybe the Lackawanna ore bridge, I start researching books. I go into the archives. I look at photographs from when it was built, at its heyday, when they tore it down, and I just study different angles of it. Then I find the one I like, and then I start making the painting based on that. I just study these photographs, whether it's Bethlehem steel or Republic steel. I just look at everything about how they are constructed. Then I read books about the steel industry, the auto industry. I just want to know about it.